Hola amigos, welcome back, and today we are going to discuss Unit 5 for the OL, and it's called Helping You, Helping Me. Today we are going just to discuss lessons 4, 5 and 6. But before we start doing anything, we should just read a passage and then we will get the new vocabulary. So the passage here is talking about just a story for kids, and it's called A Little Princess, and it was written by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Everyone at Sarah Crew's boarding school calls her a little princess because her father is very rich. After Sarah's father dies, the head teacher, Miss Minchin, starts being cruel to Sarah because she has no money. She makes Sarah work as a servant, so Sarah has to work very hard and doesn't get much food. However, Sarah decides to behave like a real princess, so she is always kind and polite to everyone. One day, Sarah finds a coin in the street. She can't find the owner. She goes to the baker's to buy some cakes. When she comes out, she sees a beggar and gives the girl most of her cakes. Sarah can see that this girl is cold and hungry. Sarah thinks that a real princess should always be kind and generous like this. When the baker sees this, she is surprised. This girl is very strange. She is very poor, but she is kind to beggars, she thinks. Now it's time to get the new vocabulary in this passage. And number one, it's called boarding school. Yes, boarding school. It's a school where children can live during the school year. And for this, we're going to say, I go to a boarding school in Aswan. Now let's move on to the next one, and it's called princess. Yes, princess. And it is a daughter of a king or queen, like our little princess. Now let's move on. And it's called cruel. Yes, cruel. And it means having a desire to cause pain and suffering. And for this, I'm going to give you an example and say, don't be cruel to people. Now let's move on. And behave. Yes, behave. It means to do things in a particular way. And for this, I'm going to say, you should behave well. Let's move on. And honor. Yes, honor. It's or it means a person who owns something. So when I tell you I am the owner of this shop, that means I have this shop, it's mine. Let's move on. And the last one, it's called beggar. Yes, beggars. It means a person who lives by asking people for money or food. And you can see them in the street. And there is a famous say like beggars cannot be choosers. Let's move on. We have some extended vocabulary here. Number one, it's called charity. Yes, charity. And number two is donation. Charity means an organization for helping people in need. We can say that I give much money for the charity to help people. And number two, donation. Yes, donation. And it means something that is given to a person or an organization to help them. Okay, I can say I gave the charity big donation. It was about $2 million. Now let's move on to the last word here, and it's called share. And here it's a verb, and it can be also a noun. But share means to have our use something at the same time as somebody else. So we can use what is somebody else using. Like, I share my room with my brother. Now let's move on and read the next passage. Hassan's blog. It's Random Acts of Kindness project. Our class decided to try to do one act of kindness every day for 3 days. This is what I did. First, on Monday, I bought my grandmother some of her favorite cakes at the baker's on the way home from school. She was surprised but very happy. After that, on Tuesday, I let some younger students go into the canteen in front of me. Finally, on Wednesday, I took a sandwich and a cold drink to the old man who often sits on our street corner. He gave me a big smile. In my opinion, doing random acts of kindness is fantastic. I don't want to stop. In this blog or in this post, we need to know what are the expressions for putting things in order. If you get the second paragraph, you will see at the beginning of the paragraph that we have the word first. Yes, first. I say this word to put the action in order. Now let's move on. Let's move on and see what are the other words we use to put the actions in order. I put my grandmother some of her favorite cakes at the baker's on the way home from school. She was surprised but very happy. And I want you to pause the video when you see the word that we want. Okay? Now let's move from the beginning. First, on Monday, I bought my grandmother some of her favorite cakes at the baker's on the way home from school. She was surprised but very happy. After that, on Tuesday, I let some younger students go into the canteen in front of me. Finally, on Wednesday, I took a sandwich and a cold drink to the old man who often sits on our street corner. He gave me a big smile. In my opinion, doing random acts of kindness is fantastic. I don't want to stop. And thank you. Now let's move on and how to make a suggestion. I can say I feel that. That means I want to suggest something for you. I feel that we should do an act of kindness every day. If I want to agree with him and I say yes for the idea, I say I see what you mean. And if I want to give a suggestion, I say I agree that it's important to give the money to one charity. So I agree that it's important too, or I feel that, or I think it would be better if. If I agree with you, I will say I see what you mean. But if I don't agree with you, I say I'm not sure. So just let's read those examples. I feel that we should do an act of kindness every day. Oh, I see what you mean. I agree that it's important to give the money to one charity. I'm not sure. I think it would be better if we donate money to charities. Yes, and thank you for watching this video. And just wait for the exercises because we are going to answer some more exercises. Now it's time to answer some questions. Number 1, choose the correct answer from A, B, C, or D. Number 1, players should wear the best space when they play to help them run. Glasses, trainers, jeans, jackets. You have your 3 seconds. And yes, the answer is Players should wear the best trainers when they play to help them run. Number 2, I saw a man who cannot walk and uses a wheelchair. Messy, generous, clever, or disabled. So you have your 3 seconds. Yes, I saw a disabled man who cannot walk and uses a wheelchair. Number 3, the rich help poor people a lot when they money to charities. Sell, borrow, donate, lose. So again your 3 seconds. And yes, the rich help poor people a lot when they donate money to charities. Now let's move on to number 4. A school is a school where students study and live all the time. So yes, a boarding school is a school where students study and live all the time. It's letter A. Number 5, children like to go to zoo or like to go to the zoo and animals there. Yes, it's easy. Children like to go to the zoo and feed animals there. Number 6, a space is the daughter of the king or a queen. So it should be, yes, a princess is the daughter of the king or a queen. Number 7, be careful. You are a small boy. You can't this heavy bag alone. Stop, leave, left. So the answer is going to be, yes, left. And it's letter C, not letter D. Number 8, the space means people who live in a certain area in a city or a town. So yes, it's the community, means people who live in a certain area in a city or a town. Now let's move on to number 9. We shouldn't be to animals. Yes, we shouldn't be cruel to animals. Number 10, nowadays there are many in most streets who ask for money. So yes, it will be beggars. Number 11, my grandfather always gives us money and presents. He is generous. My grandfather always gives us money and presents. He is generous. Number 12, a space is the person who works in houses. So yes, a servant is a person who works in houses. Number 13, a kind person is someone who behaves well. Number 14, I usually school on time. So yes, I usually reach school on time. Number 15, the baker looked when Sarah gave all cakes to the beggar. So yes, he looked surprised. He looked surprised. Now let's move on. Here we have some questions on the grammar. Who arrived at a nice beach? We arrived at a nice beach. We could swim and sit in the sun. So yes, where we could swim and sit in the sun. Now let's move on to number 2. A waiter is a man serves drinks and food in a restaurant. So yes, a waiter is a man who serves drinks and food in a restaurant. Now number 3, thank you very much for your email. Space was very interesting. So yes, that was very interesting. The children, space, shouted in the street are not from our school. So yes, the children who shouted in the street are not from our school. Now let's move on to number 5. We went to the mosque is in the middle of the square. Here I describe the place. I'm not just saying the use of the place. It's only in the middle of the square, so I'm just describing the place, and we will take, yes, which. Number 6, a library is a building you can borrow books. Here I mentioned the use of the place that I can borrow books, so it will be, yes, where. Number 7, what did you do with the money your mother gave you? So I will take who? No. Where? No. What? No. So I will not use any word, and it will be no word. I can delete the relative pronoun if it's followed by a subject. Okay? What did you do with the money your mother gave you? It's right. Number 8, Mr. Kamal is a taxi driver, lives next door. So, yes, it will be who is a taxi driver, and it will be letter C. Number 9, that's Ahmed, the boy waiting there. Yes, the boy who is waiting there, and it will be letter D. Now read and correct the underlined words. This is the girl comes from Spain. The girl, yes, it will be who. Number 2, he wore a mask, made him look like Mickey Mouse. So, yes, which made him look like Mickey Mouse. He came with a friend, waited outside in the car. So, yes, who waited outside in the car. The bag who has the money was yellow. So, I can say the bag which has the money was yellow, or the bag that had the money was yellow. Number 5, can I talk to the girl sitting on the bench? So, yes, can I talk to the girl who is sitting on the bench? And I will use who plus apostrophe s. It means who is. My aunt is she has a big company. Teacher, baker, businesswoman, or secretary. So, yes, it will be businesswoman. Number 2, a is the person who fights fires. So he must be, yes, firefighter. Number 3, you should show your before leaving a country. So I should show my passport before leaving a country. Number 4, a is the person who works at the airport. So it must be, yes, a pilot is the person who works at airports. Number 5, we should put rubbish in puts, bins, bowls, bottles, and it will be, yes, bins. Number 6, a space is something that women use to put their money in, and it will be, yes, a purse, letter C. Number 7, a space is the person who works on a boat. So I'm working on a boat, and I must be, yes, sailor. Number 8, a space is something that takes you to the top of a building without using the stairs. So it must be, yes, the lift. Teenagers shouldn't spend too much time on media, society, social media, or sociable media, or community media. So it should be, yes, teenagers shouldn't spend too much time on social media. Number 10, my little brother likes catching fish. He wants to be a, yes, fisherman. Number 11, this is that my family donates money to, and it should be, yes, the charity. And this is everything for today, and thank you for watching us.